Now tuned in to KMEL Street Soldiers. Tonight on Street Soldiers, the main topic will be the one and only Tyler Perry.
Street Soldiers Radio is the voice of the Alive and Free movement, preventing violence worldwide.
So tonight, I've been thinking about this. I want to do a show on Tyler Perry because Tyler is I guess to me, you would consider him to be a phenomenon.
I was exposed to one of the plays, one of the classic plays, and I had never laughed so hard at a play.
I do remember watching the play on DVD in my dorm room, so I guess that was about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And the first thought I had was another Martin Lawrence, doing the Big Mama and all that other stuff. But I loved the play. I thought it was hilarious.
So for me, I thought the story content resonated.
Okay.
I thought that's what resonated with me first.
My grandfather actually had it on a videotape, a bootleg videotape
of the play. Video of the play.
Of the play. And he gave it to my mom by accident because he was supposed to give her my graduation tape. And he gave her the Medea tape. And I just remember sitting there just cracking up.
Everybody else had seen it. By the time I saw The Diary of a Mad Black Woman, it was old news. But when I saw it, and I saw Medea. See, again, my grandmother's like Medea. So I loved it.
Wow.
She had a piece, and it was steel.
I remember seeing one of those bootleg tapes. I was like, okay, we'll try it. I didn't have a DVD player at the time, so I threw it in there. It was entertaining. I was surprised to find out it was a dude. I thought it was just a big woman, but it was very interesting. I was very intrigued.
I caught on late. I caught on to the whole Tyler Perry bug late. And so I think my first experience was probably the Medea movie.
He's made over $520 million. Wow. $520 million in ticket receipts in the past 6 years.
A lot of people don't have the same amount of, I don't want to say drive, but they didn't have the same, whatever he had, they didn't have it because he came out with all this stuff in 15 years. It's like over 30 years worth of work that you may see somebody else do. And I guess coming from that background and just coming from being homeless, he's just like, I got to do this.
Your life experiences. At 16, you change your name. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened from the time he was able to write to the time he decided, I don't want to be Emmett anymore?
Let me dive one of his haters. One of his haters happens to be his fellow director, Spike Lee.
Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah. Spike, let's see. Spike, what did Spike say? Spike said that he's a buffoon.
Wow.
Each artist should be allowed to pursue their artistic endeavors, said Spike Lee in 2009. And but I still think there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's coonery and buffoonery. I know it's making a lot of money and breaking records, but we can do better. I'm a huge basketball fan, and when I watch games on TNT, I see these ads for these two shows, Beat the Browns and House of Pain, and I'm scratching my head. We got a black president, and we going back to Mantan Moreland and Sleep and Eat. So Spike has really been hard on Tyler Perry. He says he's basically a minstrel show.
I just want to say, I love Spike Lee. I love Spike Lee joints. I love all of the work that he's done, and I'm the biggest fan of Spike Lee, but I don't think it's totally necessary to bring Tyler Perry's work down. I think he has a positive influence in the community, and I think that he has done a lot for himself and the people around him.
Growing up in a household when you're told what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Okay.
And you're operating as if your household is the only household that operates that way. And then comes along someone who, and I just wrote this down, I felt like Tyler Perry invited America into Black America's house.
Okay.
And that's a problem for a whole lot of people.
Folks don't.
Because some of the content that Tyler Perry speaks about in his movies are taboo. So he goes in there with rape, he goes in there with domestic violence, he goes in there with molestation, he goes in there with so much stuff that is very hard for people to look at on a big screen. Hello, somebody. And then people to sit back and say, wow, that happened to me.
I think Spike is pulling a little Kim right now. We're just trying to get a little shine. So he's like, let me just dog this dude that's really on top right now, and he's winning the game. Can't nobody say anything about Tyler Perry. Like, he hasn't made any movies that flopped.
Are you calling Madea Nicki Minaj?
The characters, there's a lot of enrichment and enhancement of the women characters in his films to the detriment of the male characters. Now, this is something I've heard a lot, and I hear a lot from brothers, is that the strengths in the films are the women.
I felt like the last one, Medea's Big Happy Family, was for the men. It showed the men's patience. It showed them just dealing with these women. And it was weird being on the other side because Tyler Perry has catered to the women and has, even if you haven't been able to 100% relate to the women or be in their position, there's something about them you'll pull out and you'll leave with something feeling happy.
I kind of don't unlike the fact that how people will try to call him out about dressing in drag when just a few years ago when Eddie Murphy was dressing up like in The Nutty Professor, no one had nothing to say about him playing Rasputia. Martin did it all the time.
Martin did it all the time. Jamie Foxx did it all the time on In Living Color.
Right.
We had no problems with the clumps.
Exactly. Norbit?
No problems because they never touched on issues. See, until issues start getting touched on and you behind the dress and the wig and all that thing, then it's kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I was born in 1984.
You 80s, baby.
And, yeah, and I grew up with my great-grandmother. She was born in 1924. So I was raised with a lot of old school, down south teaching. And Tyler Perry's character, Madea, reminds me a lot of my grandmother.
Like, you look at Madea like the grandma that you either had or you wanted to have. Because who wouldn't want to have grandma just come up and just regulate on anybody that just messing with you or something like that? And she corrected everything like in the new movie. The little boys was out of hand, and she instantly
correct them?
just like that, no hesitation.
That's his thing, the family. You know, folks go with the drugs and the dope and the gangs and this.
Yeah.
Tyler's thing is the family.
I want to see a point in time where Tyler Perry can actually depict them in us in a better light, and especially with the women. They touched on that, like the women have become the head of the household.
The point in time that we're in, it's actually like that. The women are the head of the household, and unfortunately, the only time you hear about a black man doing anything is when he's beating on his wife or he's selling drugs or something like that. And one thing,
absolutely true. That's absolutely true. Like, I was watching For Color Girls, and my mother said, you know, I've always liked Tyler Perry, but she said, like, everything that happened, she said, everything in this movie and For Color Girls is going to be touched on. Everything you can think of.
There's a crazy person in everybody's family, no matter what race you are.
I also think you always tell what you know best. So I'm not surprised that he has done what he's done, given what his background is, given what happened with his dad, given the women that probably saved his life, given his affinity for the maternal side.
His issues transcend class.
yeah.
You see, that's where now you can't say he's just picking on a particular part of the black community.
You don't really see that.
Taking you into.
He take you to the hood. He'll take you to the middle class.
And let you know that this stuff exists
everywhere.
in all these facets of life.
Good point.
So.